Hi, I'm Eden. And these are 3 times in my life that I think I was possibly going to die. Well, actually, these are just from my childhood. So the first one, I don't actually even remember. I was a sleepwalker. And I think that my sleepwalking was probably caused by having allergies to everything outside. As you see, I am in a car, but I am allergic to everything outside. So my windows are closed so that I don't have an allergic reaction. I don't, get anaphylactic shock or anything from allergies from outside. But in any case, I get headaches and everything. And I think I was probably having trouble sleeping as a child because I sleptwalked. And if you sleepwalk, generally you're not getting good sleep. So, my parents were building a in-law apartment for my grandmother to live in, connected to our house. And in order to do so, they had to build it. And so there was, at the time that I almost died, there was a huge hole, a huge foundation, just a pit of a hole in the ground. And if you opened the door that we used to use to go outside, you would fall into the basement of the home that was being built. So we were young children. I know I must have been in elementary school, and I was still sleepwalking. And my parents decided that they would solve this problem until, the first floor was built, that they would put a chair in front of the door that we used to go outside, indicating don't go out this door as you're sleepwalking. So apparently one night I did sleepwalk and I had my hand on the doorknob and my parents saved me. And I don't remember any of this. Generally, my parents woke me up and told me to go. Well, I don't know that they woke me up. They just told me to go back to bed. So I did. But I'm like, as a parent, I would have been freaked out. I would have had more than a chair in front of this. And these are good parents, too. Very safety conscious. My father was a pharmacist in a hospital. My mom was a nurse in a hospital. When they met at Children's Hospital, so they were actually safety conscious. They just put a chair in front. Okay, so the second time was I was in elementary school, and my sister and I were walking home from school. And this was Margaret. She was younger than me. I don't know where my older sister Ruby was, but she wasn't with us. And so this didn't usually happen because my older sister Ruby was usually with us. And I was like, oh, I'm the big kid now because I was actually the middle child. But we were walking home from school and we had been warned that there was somebody driving around trying to, I don't know what they were doing, scare kids, kidnap kids, who knows what this man was doing, but we had been warned there was somebody driving around trying to talk to kids, and it was a male. In any case, I had been told to run if a car pulled over to the side of the road, and, instead of getting kidnapped, we were supposed to run. So guess what I did? I walked over to the car that pulled over. This was right in front of my house. And so the car pulled over. In my elementary school brain, I thought, hey, I'm the big kid. I shall walk over to this car and give this man or person in the car, I couldn't see if it was a man or a woman, directions. And really, the only directions I knew were how to get to school and back because I walked it. That's it. Anyway, walked over to the car and looked into the car, to give directions. There was a man in there and he had no clothes on. And so I stood there and screamed. I didn't run. I was told to run. I didn't run. I stood there. I was frozen. My sister was back from the car. So my mom would cross us across this busy road that we lived on. So thank God she was walking up the driveway and heard me screaming and was screaming at this man, "You get away from my kids!" as I'm just literally letting out a and so he drove off and they didn't catch him. The police didn't catch him. So anyway, that. And I wasn't actually worried about walking to school again. Which was interesting because my parents were like, well, do you feel comfortable walking? And I'm like, no, not yet. But it was only because I knew that they were worried. I really wasn't worried. I don't know why, but I had a kid's brain. Why worry? So in any case, in further on years, I've learned that in order to teach your child or anybody to do something in a circumstance which you're going to be very frightened, such as I was, you actually have to have them act it out. So in my 30s, I actually took a police defense course with the police, and it's not to be a police officer, but it was to act out. If somebody grabs you, this is what you do. And we were all in these lobster suits, and it was pretty cool. I loved it. I got found out about the class because I had been riding my bike on the sidewalk in a town that you're not supposed to do this, but what was a city actually, and the police, I got a ticket for $50, but in the process, the police officer told me about this class that I could take because I didn't feel comfortable walking at night, so I had to ride my bike. I didn't feel comfortable riding my bike on the street because I was going to get hit, and there was somebody, some crazy person, accosting people out on the streets. And anyway, okay, so the third time that I thought that I was in a bad situation was I was walking my dog down through the woods, and there was a trail behind my house and all around. And I was walking my dog. Thankfully, my mom said to walk my dog. And I was in junior high school, so like 7th or 8th grade, by myself and my dog, and had her on the leash, and we came about 10 feet maybe away from a man walking toward us. And we often saw people in the woods, and it wasn't any big deal. And, you just say hi and walk along. But my mom was worried and said, take the dog. So thankfully I did, because we got about 10 feet in front of this man, and my dog pulled me home. She turned around and started running. She didn't even stop. She didn't look. There was something wrong with this man. I don't know what it was, but I'm glad I didn't find out. All right. Be careful out there.